aperti a tutti in Piazza Unità. Prima di accogliere gli ospiti del prossimo evento, a nome dei promotori e copromotori della manifestazione, vorrei ringraziare tutte le istituzioni scientifiche di Trieste, città della conoscenza, e le istituzioni che hanno collaborato con noi, il main partner del festival, i partner e i content partner della manifestazione per il contributo fondamentale. Grazie anche ai media partner e ai partner tecnici. Infine, un grazie speciale ai 200 volontari di questa edizione. Ricordatevi anche di controllare il programma aggiornato degli eventi su www.triestenext.it, al quale potete accedere anche da questo codice QR. Buon ascolto e buon festival!
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's really morning of Saturday. So first of all, thank you very much for waking up so early in the morning and joining us in this panel, who is in English as language. I hope that at least one of you is non-Italian speaker. Otherwise, it would be a little bit bizarre, right? That we make an English event and nobody speaks English. Well, anyway, so the panel we're starting, it's about artificial intelligence, which at this stage seems to be a bit, a buzzword that we hear quite a lot, and it's pervasive everywhere. But when I was waking up while arriving here, I was thinking that back in not so long time ago, so December 2022, you remember, so COVID was just over. We thought we were slowly getting back to a normal life, the one, let's say, that we had before COVID, but no. Something happened. An obscure company from United States called OpenAI uh, put in online this chatbot called ChatGPT, and it became in few weeks something viral with 100 million users from all over the world. And well, it was the kind of chatbots that you are probably all, or if not, well, most of you at least, are using every day to perform a lot of tasks that before that time you were doing by yourself or using Google search. And now it's life gets a bit easier to a certain extent, but sometimes a bit inaccurate too. So this artificial intelligence, this generative artificial intelligence, which is one kind of AI, the one that is now mostly on hype, has changed already our lives. And the promise is that it is going to change it much and even more by modifying, altering, and reshaping the way we work, the way we search information, the way we process information, the way we interact with the digital world, and very likely the way we think, because whenever there is language-based interactions, these are also shaping the way we think. So what we are trying to do today is to take a look inside these algorithms, although this is not an easy task, and try to understand few things from different perspectives, using different lenses. So the lens of how they work, not just or not only, maybe that's maybe quickly, the mechanistic side of the work. So what are the computations that are done by these algorithms, but more importantly, how they work in practice, why they, out of a series of numbers that are crunched, you get as answers that are meaningful, most of the time correct, and most of the time, sometimes, or half of the times, they say useful for the task that you want to do. So this is one thing, and this is quite a non-trivial problem. In fact, we will see, mostly unsolved and mostly unclear how these beasts are actually doing what they do. So we created another research problem, and quite a difficult one. And then it's not only how they work, but also the fact that they work and how they impact us. So how they impact us in the way we think, how they impact us in the way the society is organized, and we react to this big change that I always try to remember. It's driven by few very powerful algorithms that are competing among each other, all developed by private for-profit companies, which is also something to take into account. And then, last but not least, how these things are going to enter into the way we work, not only as a personal freelance journalists or text writers or copywriters, but most importantly, in every aspect of the work, including, for instance, manufacturing, including how we build products, including how we process products, how we process and we develop and work with information. So here we have three experts on these different topics. So I will present them in order from my far left. So on the far left, we have Gabriele Sarti. Gabriele Sarti is a researcher in the area of artificial intelligence. In particular, he works on this field called natural language processing, which today means large language models. And so OpenAI, GPT, and ChatGPT, and so on. And he's particularly working on interpretability of these models, which is opening the black box and looking inside and trying to understand how the machine works. So he's the guy of the first question. Next to me, and I have to say, we have a change of program. So we do not have Fabiano Benedetti, although I could have claimed that, but we have Massimiliano Anzutti. Massimiliano Anzutti is also also one of the other founder of BioNTech, so he's the partner of Fabiano in business. And Fabiano could not join us today for a last-minute issue, and so he's been replaced by Max, who kindly agreed last minute to appear here in Trieste from the far away Udine city. So thank you, Max. Max, as I said, is the founder of BioNTech. BioNTech is an IT company that works mostly as system integrator, but now is also, of course, trying to include generative artificial intelligence into their activities, and they work mostly for the manufacturing sector. Finally, last but not least, on my right, there's Teresa Scantamburlo. Teresa is a recently recruited professor at the University of Trieste. And she actually was recruited on a chair funded by Generali on responsible artificial intelligence. So she is one of the few, I would say, main experts in Italy about this topic, which is how we can make artificial intelligence a responsible technology, which is not there to conquer us or govern us, but is there to, let's say, support us, empower democracy rather than dismantling democracy and so on. So, small topic that we have to face as society. And so, thank again to all of you for agreeing to join us in this panel. And now let's start with questions. So I have a first question. So we'll start with the first round of questions. So I have a first question for Gabriele, which is to help us give us a look into these machines called large language models that we use every day to perform a lot of tasks. So if you can explain us very briefly how they work, and actually then open the black box and tell us what does it mean to open the black box and what actually happens inside, if you know, and or how much we know about that. So thank you, Gabriele.
Thank you, Luca, for this very simple task of summarizing all the knowledge in the field in a few minutes. So yeah, briefly, when we talk about AI these days, we mostly talk about neural networks, which have been the big revolution in this field. How do neural networks work? In practice, they are functions that predict some outcome. So how are they different from the kind of functions that we probably all saw in school? Concretely, the main difference is that these functions have parameters that are not known in advance. So what we want to know when we train a neural network, you probably have heard this expression, is that we want to learn how this function should behave in some specific contexts. So when we talk specifically about generative AI, we're not talking about any kind of function that is just predicting, for example, if an email is a spam message or not a spam message, but rather if we are actually a system that is generating content. So it can be generating text, it can be generating images. All this falls onto the category of generative AI. So in particular, language models generate text from a query, right? So you might have tried yourself these kind of systems like ChatGPT. You prompt these models with a query and you receive back an answer from this model. So how do these models concretely give these answers? It's simply that they have learned from incredible amounts of text, terabytes and terabytes of online text, Wikipedia, all sorts of sources, to produce the next most likely word given all the previous ones. So given a query, these models will predict what can be a valid answer in this case. So this is probably what you can find online also about these models, how they work. And this is also the argument that you often hear when people tell you, these are just next word predictor, not so far from the T9 on your iPhone, right? That is just suggesting you what words should come next into your message. Actually, I would like to disagree on this point. So there are significant differences in